Hello and welcome, Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. So good to see you and thanks for joining me today. Today, I want to share with you one question that I ask my clients or friends and family when I really want to get to the core, deep issue of how they feel about themselves. So this one question or kind of concept, I didn't invent it at all. I borrowed it from a lady named Chris Stormer, a reflexologist, amazing foot reader. If you've never taken a course with her, do. If you're at all interested in learning more about reflexology, you will get so much from her workshops and stuff. Anyway, I was in a workshop with her a while ago, a long time ago, and I remember her saying this one little thing, and I use it all the time with my clients or, even friends and family when I'm wanting to find out how they actually, live their life, right? So I can't remember exactly how this goes, but she was saying something along the lines of just ask people how they feel about their feet. What do they think of their feet? Do they like their feet, or maybe some people don't like their feet, or their big toes, too big, or they think, their feet are too small, things like that. And when they give you that kind of information, kind of switch it around so that rather than the topic is their feet, which they think they're talking about, it's actually talking about themselves. And so this little piece of information, I started to use it with my clients, right? So I get a client and I'd sort of ask them, how are their feet? What do you think of your feet? Or what's bothering you about your feet? Or, what do you like about your feet? Or things like this, these kind of questions, right? So the question that I always ask is, how are your feet doing today? Right? And they'll start to tell me. And if they don't really understand what I'm trying to say, I'll say stuff like, do you like your feet, or do you have any issues with your feet as far as, the look of them, or things like that, right? So you can dig a little deeper, but the main question here is, what do they think of their feet? Now, the feet they sort of live after we grow up and start walking and things like that after we're a baby. The feet kind of live in the subconscious realm, right? Like, we don't think about our feet. Like, if I wanted to, reach over and grab this, coffee from way over there, I would, just think, okay, I'm going to go get that. And you kind of get up and you move, and then you consciously reach out your hand and grab it. But you didn't actually consciously think about your feet walking there, or your legs, right? So it's kind of like from the navel down, everything's sort of in the subconscious realm. What's cool about that is that the feet, when you're talking about your own feet, you're actually giving out some really juicy information about yourself, right? So I get a lot of feedback from when I ask this simple question, right? So some examples that I've gotten recently is I hate my feet. I always try and hide them. I don't want anybody to see them. I have ugly feet, blah, 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 right? So they'll go kind of on that thing. And one of the key things to remember here is when you do ask this question is try and remember or even write down their exact wording, because that can really have a huge impact. So when somebody says, I have ugly feet, or I hate my feet, switch that around. So take feet out of there, substitute it with themselves, right? So in some ways it's kind of like, ooh, a little bit, hard to hear, right? Because it's like, yeah, I've always felt myself being ugly, right? And I've never really liked myself, or I've always wanted to hide away when, I'm in situations, right? So that's really what they could be saying about themselves, right? So this is something to really be very sensitive with as well, because if you just, regurgitate and say, haha, I know what I know your secrets now, it can really not be a beneficial conversation to have with a client. But understanding and getting this question, you can get a lot of information that you can work with during your reflexology session, right? Another one that I had recently was, my feet have always bothered me. My feet have always been this way. They're always in pain. They always bug me. So again, right? I've always been this way, right? My feet, I've always been in pain. Whatever, the situation I'm in life, I end up getting hurt, right? End up getting beat up. I'm always sore. I'm always, right? So these kind of things. So really take what they're sharing with you as, literal about how they're talking about their life, right? And this can be a huge thing. So, yes, they can say, yeah, I blame it on my work and, I stand all day and things like that. But yeah, the same thing. I don't like my job. I stand all day. I'm, not able to move, not able to basically, what are you doing? If you're standing all day, you're chosen to be in a position where you can't move or do what you really want to do in your life, right? So this is really kind of cool, juicy stuff that you can talk about. And then there's other people who are just like, what do you think of your feet? And they're like, oh, I love my feet. They're cute. They're small. They get me where I need to go. Stuff like that. So on the other hand, you're not always going to get, all a boo 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 sort of story. Some people are going to be like, yeah, I really like the way I am. I'm bubbly, I'm cute, right? That sort of thing. I like it. I like who I am, right? So it's really interesting when you just ask this one question, how much information you can get from the clients, right? And that's a lot deeper information than you will get from, how, do you have any pain in your feet, for example, right? And then you can go down to, they'll say, oh yeah, because in grade 9, I broke my toe or whatever, and blah, 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 right? So that will give you in one direction, but opening it up to a bit more of a conversation. And also, you don't have to have a conversation with the client, right, about this stuff. It's just some information, right? And it might not always ring 100% true, right? And it's not very comfortable to talk about sometimes. So, but it is really good, I find, to at least have that as notes after the session. Even you can just write down sort of this key phrasing, and maybe some of the same topics will come up during a session as well. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because it's been such a benefit in my practice and with my family members and things like that, right? Because it can be a good conversation starter, or it can just be information to understand somebody a little bit differently, right? And have more compassion for and empathy for who they are and how they are walking through this life, right? So anyway, hope that helps. Let me know if you have any of these great information getters. You can leave a comment below, and also maybe you've been in some of her workshops before, Chris Stommer's, and maybe you are also using this, so I'd love to know if you do. So anyway, hope that helps. Remember to keep those feet happy. See you next time. Bye-bye. If you're interested in learning more about reflexology, you could subscribe to the channel below. It's also very helpful to hit that like button, and feel free to share it with anybody who you think might be interested in it. You can find my online courses, Reflexology Charts, and other reflexology goodies over on my website, which is balancingtouch.ca. Thank you so much for watching today, and if you have some more time, you can check out some other videos. Till next time, this is Adam Thomas from balancingtouch.ca. See you later.